Hello, welcome back to Zekism Wrestling. Sorry for the delay in content. It's been a turbulent summer of holidays and illnesses and kids going back to school, etc. So we're back. And we're back with breaking news. Saudi Arabia, big staple in the WWE calendar, at least they are to TKO. Turkey Al-Sheikh makes WWE announcement that will have major impact on the company. South Arabian sports promoter has made a landmark announcement, which they do repeat here, by the way. Turkey Al-Sheikh, it says it here, is a high-profile Saudi Arabian sports promoter and become one of the leading figures driving their involvement in global sport. I know him most prominently. He comes around here when there's a big boxing match that takes place in Saudi Arabia. He sort of does the rounds here in the UK to promote the event, also to defend the event. He does that a lot when he comes over here, because obviously journalists over here sort of give him prodding questions about why they're going, why the sport's going over there. And to be fair to wrestling and boxing, they're not the only ones. Footballers go over there. Golf goes over there. I think a lot of events go over there, and they all get to face the same questions when they do it. But we know ultimately the reason why they do it, and we'll get into that in a second. His influence has been felt across several sports. Like I said, I know him from boxing, and he was apparently named one of the most influential figures in boxing in 2024 following Saudi Arabia's takeover of The Ring magazine. Yeah, like I said, he does the rounds with the boxing, and apparently now he's going to get involved in the wrestling a bit more, probably at the behest of the regime over there. Al-Sheikh stepped back from a role in football earlier this year as he passed his ownership of the Spanish club Almeria onto a Saudi Arabian investment group, and now he has turned his attention to wrestling, announcing that Wrestlemania will head to Saudi Arabia in 2027. Although the news has not yet been officially confirmed by WWE, Al-Sheikh made the announcement during a Snapchat live video, and the respected reporter Mike Johnson from BW Insider later confirmed the announcement is authentic. Here, Johnson added that a press release had been issued in Arabic earlier in the day and was pulled not long afterwards. Should the announcement be confirmed, it would represent a landmark moment in WWE as the first time WrestleMania has left North America. Since its debut in 1985, WrestleMania has only taken place in either the United States or Canada, and crucially once a year, which we'll get into in a second as well. WWE have taken other shows on the road, including SummerSlam in 1992 at Wembley Stadium, and more recently Clash at the Castle events. Clash in Paris last weekend that take place in France. Backlash has taken place in France. London had Money in the Bank recently, in the last couple of years anyway. And Raw and SmackDowns quite semi-regularly now are coming over to international audiences in conjunction with their pay-per-view events that are travelling now. As a fan, I think it's a great move, because I think it does freshen up the product, having different. So let's be honest, the international crowds are often louder than the American crowd. Sorry, that's just fact. So the fact that you get a loud, vocal, different crowd, sort of semi-regularly, is a better product. It does. I'm sorry, it does. I know it's an American company predominantly, although there is world in the title. But it is something to look forward to. Also, crucially, the broadcast time for the Raw and SmackDowns is much more agreeable with the international crowds, because obviously the North American market is one facet of the world. The rest of the world obviously has to wake up either super early or super late to watch your Raw and SmackDowns live, and I think Netflix's ratings are always up as a result of that, because the international crowds are watching them live and exclusive on Netflix when they're broadcast. So it is interesting, and this sort of goes to what we're saying here about Saudi Arabia. Here we are. I've paid around $100 million to host WrestleMania, a figure which would smash the previous record hosting deal. The country has also become a familiar destination for WWE more generally. Back in 2018, they signed a 10-year strategic, easy word for me to say, partnership with the Ministry of Sport, which led them to host premium live events in Saudi Arabia, and they've done that twice a year for, nigh on 10 years now. Saudi Arabia's efforts to host more sporting events form part of the wider Saudi Vision 2030. They're trying to change their image, become a much more touristy destination, and obviously hosting sports and becoming a bit more of a staple in terms of an event-led destination that's not, known for other things. It is a government initiative designed to diversify the country's economy away from so these are the political ramifications, which we're not terribly interested in. Sport has been one of the key areas of focus for Saudi, and bringing WrestleMania to the country would be the latest example of that. It would. Those of us who have been commentating pontificating about the Saudi deal and maybe being a bit and ahhing about it, have forecasted this. It's been inevitable since they signed that deal in 2018. It was obviously going to happen eventually, and I think with them approaching the end of that 10-year deal, culminating in a WrestleMania, sort of was where we thought it was going to go anyway. Crucially, I think they've got the Royal Rumble that's in January. That is taking place in Saudi Arabia. So that's 2026 Royal Rumble, and then 2027 they'll have a WrestleMania. Crucially, if we get on to go away advert. Crucially, we'll go on to this. Sorry about the dog advert. Saudi Arabia reportedly pushing for certain WWE WrestleMania 43 matches now that it's been leaked by or revealed that what is going on there? That Saudi Arabia is having WrestleMania, and now Saudi Arabia, as they always do, have these requests that go in for certain things they want to see. Is this Total Divas? Certain things they want to see on the show, such as legends coming out of retirement, such as Yokozuna, even though he's already dead, and others. Dave Meltzer speculating. God love Dave Meltzer. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer detailed the plans for the show. They're paying the money for it, and they have the matches that they want, and they're working really, really hard to get it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get them, but they're going to spend a lot of money to get what they want. Yes, we're talking about anyone coming out of retirement that wants to come out of retirement of big name value will be able to get a lot of money for this show. The report suggests that any retired legend who's interested in coming back would likely be contacted about appearing on the show. I would presume all of those people would be contacted, and the ones who want to do it will be able to. The ones who have any interest in a great payday, they'll be able to get on that show. This opens the door to a number of dream matches that fans have been clamouring for years. Which, be careful what you wish for, is what we see. We've seen a number of Legends matches in Saudi Arabia, but that again they've requested or put the feelers out for certain people to come out of retirement. If anyone can name me one that's gone down well or gone well, I'll give you a tenner. I'll give you £10. But I can't think of one. Some really awful ones as well. The potential for a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia has been the topic of discussion for some time, and it's recently reported there have been talks of a 2 WrestleMania year to accommodate both the international event and the traditional domestic show. Yes, this is what I was alluding to earlier. This was sort of mooted by outlets earlier in the year that they were thinking about doing 2 WrestleManias soon, and that was to accommodate a potential Saudi Arabia WrestleMania, which obviously WrestleMania being a very American institution, they have the national anthem shown there, although they do that in the pre-show now for some reason, probably because of the international audience in mind. They're like, we don't really care about listening to the American national anthem. Nothing against it, it's not everyone else's national anthem. But here we are with the 2 WrestleMania coming up. I would probably say that's quite likely. They've packaged up events willy-nilly, sort of just put events on and just dub it, and we're taking, by the way, it's it's Backlash whatever, or it's Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is now going to Perth. Even though, what's the Crown Jewel link? There's very little to do with Australia and crowns. But they're taking that brand over to Australia next month or the month after. So the two WrestleMania a year, I think they're probably going to try that. I think because that will appease the North American market, and then if you have an international one, it's interesting that this has come about. It's like I said, anyone who's been watching or pontificating about it, it's sort of been very likely to happen. And it does open the door for some interesting conversations. We saw CM Punk have to deal with some of that earlier this year when he went to Saudi Arabia for the first time after saying some things about it. And I think there's some other moral things for people to wrestle with if they are going to. But I think enough time's passed. It's nearly 10 years of this deal. People have just become used to the Saudi. I mean, there was a lot of online streamers who boycotted the initial Saudi shows, and they've all relented and sort of added it to their usual calendars. It has been somewhat normalised, and we could argue the sports washing element, but that's what it was. People have just accustomed to it becoming part of the calendar. I'll be honest, as a viewer, the crowds have gotten better. I remember the initial ones used to have a lot of dignitaries there, a lot of high-ranking officials, I'd assume, within the Saudi Arabian setup. and those have minimised, and they've become sort of more fan-led audiences that are there, and they've been very, very vocal. And I think the product has become better as a result of that, watching those Saudi shows. And since, well, you know, I'll be giving props, since Triple H has come over, less legends going out there to do to do the matches. So I think, you know, whether that's him directly or maybe coincidentally, there has been a significant drop in the amount of legends that go over there for a one day paid deal. But WrestleManias annually have legends segments and legends matches they come out of retirement for. And not all of them are Trish Stratus, let's be honest, who can still go. So it's interesting who we're going to see, who they're alluding to in this article, that, you know, if they want to go, they've been mooted. You know, the ultimate for them would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has been very vocal about not coming out of retirement for anything inconsequential. He's teased coming out of retirement for the last 2 years, especially culminating that Cody Rhodes finishing the storyline, but that never transpired. Apparently it was to do with money. Well, Saudis would be able to put paid to that, so I don't know. It's interesting. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Are you on board with the Saudi WrestleMania? Do you care? Are you normalised by it, the same as everybody else seems to be? Let me know in the comment section below. Please leave a like and subscribe on the channel. It's great to be back, so thank you very much for anyone who cared, anyone's patience, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.